Hello, fellow fish keepers. This is Stefan at Lush and Salty Aquariums. We're looking at my 5-gallon jumbo tank. I love the aquascape here. The plant life is tremendous, and obviously I've got a lot of fish in there. Its original inhabitants were these green Cubitai rasboras. That was the colony I had as an exclusive species into this tank, but I added a few endlers as ditherfish to get them out of the shadows to get the rasboras, and that sure worked. But the endlers quickly reproduced, and now I have a jumble of fish, but they seem happy. It's an overpopulation, I'm aware of that. But like I always say, if you have tons of healthy plant life and good filtration and keep up with your water changes, you're good with a lot of fish. That's my opinion, and I don't have any evidence demonstrating to the contrary. Now, what I would not have done is put that beta in here, but as I said in previous videos, which you can look up, I ordered one white platinum beta from a seller on eBay, and he sent me 5 for the same price as one. I'm not sure what he was thinking, and when I contacted him, he just put a laughing emoji and said, "I know how you like white platinums." So I guess I'm lucky I had so many tanks, but it was a risk. It still is a risk. But this guy is one of the ones, and I homed him in this tank. I don't mind if he takes on some of these fry, as I have plenty, and he's happy in here for the time being. This one looks like it has a bit of the Fakat strain. I say that because its fins are less flowy, a little bit more contained, and he has a thicker kind of football body type as opposed to some of the others I got, which are a little more slender with longer tails. But there he is, white platinum number 2 or 3. I guess I have 5, so I'll be checking on them every time I look at a different tank that has one in it. But you can see a fabulous growth of Monte Carlo. I love these crypts, these cryptocorn plants. They're spreading. One's coming up through the Monte Carlo. This was the original group. I may have started this from a, what do you call it? A culture as opposed to a potted plant. But they're really healthy, and they're just going to town in this tank. I pull a lot of them out and plant and replant. I've got some more in the back. I've got Anubias, different strains of that, one sword plant, and that one has split. There's actually another one there. You see the flower from an Anubias right there, and you see some Anubias petite on this driftwood. That's the smaller leafed variety, one of my favorite plants. And you can tell all the new growth by the lighter green. And I have very little algae in this tank. And part of that's because I do run CO2. This is the Fluval rig. It's the one you see at Petco or Pet Club. It's a bit of a pain in the ass, but it works. And I have it on a number of my tanks. I've got the classic hang on the back for up to 20-gallon tanks. Aqueon, Fluval, it's all the same. I always like to over filter, and this is the proof of why. Even on the bottom, you don't see any detritus, any kind of gross brown stuff. There are snails, a few shrimp, some baby fry, there's one in there, and my usual assortment of pygmy Corydoras. I also have a few Otocinclus catfish in here, but all in all, it's the maintenance overall that keeps me algae free and gives me this fabulous and lush plant growth. So this is a hybrid of my kind of generic guppy strain and an Endler. I just assume not have that male in here, but good luck catching them. They all dive into the plants when I try. And then that's a pure Endler strain. And then I have a number of females that are primarily Endler guppies. The cool thing about them is, well, there's a lot of cool things, but in this tank, they really do create a wonderful, endless, active environment, whereas before, these Rasboras just hung still for the most part, were a lot slower, a lot less vigorous, so the concept of a ditherfish really does work. This tank is the El Cheapo Petco variety. It's got the black frame, which is not very pretty, but I had this tank and one thing led to another. I was using it at one point to raise Daphnia, just a live food culture. That went away. Then I threw in some plants and then a couple guppies, and then I decided to scape it. I do my usual jungle scape with a planted carpet. I have this idea in a lot of my tanks because it's just my favorite. I find the lush and, well, it's why I named the site Lush and Salty in terms of the freshwater piece. I love plant growth. I like it when it comes out of the tank. I put air plants and driftwood along the edge for fun. I've got some alder cones just here for decoration on an old footstool. I just like everything about a planted tank. There's frogbit and duckweed up top, which I am constantly pulling and giving away to some friends. I'll give some to you if you hit me up. There it is from the bottom looking up. Those roots pull out nutrients from the water as well. So from the top to the bottom up, everything is helping keep this huge population of fish in a small environment healthy, active, and obviously virile. There's a bunch of babies in there. All right, folks, always keep your hands in the tank. Thank you for your patronage.